everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back if this is your 16th Walker Season 2 episode review. Yeah, I apologize. This has been a very, very long day for me, more than usual because it's a long story. Maybe another time. This week on What's in the Tube, we're reviewing Walker. Yeah, I'm already out of it. This episode felt like a very much of a needed break with the story. It was very somber, it's very sweet. You know, we kind of took a break on majority of the storylines, focusing more back on the family connections and the relationship between the characters, which is always the strongest points to Walker. Just getting to see these characters develop and and see where what the next step is for them. And I think them doubling down and focusing on what they still have to deal with was honestly the best part of the episode, to be honest with you. And it leaves me excited where we end this episode, where the final run is going to be, because spoiler warning, we're going on another Walker hiatus. We just began May, and Walker will return to us at the beginning of June, so we're off for a whole month. Great. I don't know if that was planned in my books or not. I don't know why. I thought Walker would be at least doing a couple episodes. I mean, I don't know how many episodes this season's going for, but anyway. All that being said, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker, because I apologize, I'm not 100% myself. Well, I am myself. I'm still the same person, but I just feel a little drained, normally speaking. But I will do my best, as always. You always gain the best Joe possible. I will pound my fruit. Anyway, we begin this week with we're getting a little bit of a Walker cookout. It's a big old day for the Walker clan. Grandma and Grandpa Walker are celebrating 40 years of marriage, which I'm like, Jesus, my parents could even reach 20. Okay, all jokes aside, it's a very sweet occasion. It's like the first time they've actually had like a very much of a, let's sit back and enjoy. Let's forget about everything that's going on. There's been so much bad stuff happening to the Walkers lately that let's celebrate for a moment. It's a big special occasion. 40 years. It only comes around once in a lifetime if you're lucky enough. And for them, they're trying to make this the best day possible for them. Grandpa Walker pulls aside Cordell to tell him that the only thing that Grandma Walker wants for this anniversary, even though it's not technically her birthday or Mother's Day, ironically Mother's Day is the Sunday, so considering the focus that we got on Grandma Walker, I'm assuming, you consider this the Mother's Day special, but I know that wasn't low-key planned, because who knows what the schedules we're going to work out. The only thing that she's mostly wanting to get is to be able to kind of reconcile with Jerry, since it has been a while. They haven't spoken to each other since the whole revelation, and she still feels really guilty about it, and just having some sort of acceptance that no matter what, that they're still family and they're still good with each other would be the best for her. But of course, obviously, Jerry's in a completely different place right now, still trying to get to know the Daversons, seeing like if this is even going to work. And just, it's a really rough transition when you're in your 30s and you realize you have another set of parents or a whole different set of family members that you never even knew existed for the vast majority of your life. So, and also Cordell hasn't spoken to her since the whole breakup thing back a couple weeks ago. So it's now's the time to like really let's maybe try to mend some bridges over here. I know Liam is tasked to find this very, very, very special rare bottle of wine or champagne. I think it's champagne that Grandpa and Grandma Walker had at their wedding 40 years ago. That is extremely rare to find. Well, it was very common back when they got married, but nowadays it's very freaking difficult. So in 1981, 82, so this definitely does confirm it. The series currently takes place in 2021, so that was nice. Or it doesn't, I don't really know. But anyway, so Liam's off. He pairs up with Cordell's Walker, Cassie, to go find some very vintage wine. They hit up a wine shop, and I don't know if Cassie was trying to flirt with someone or she was trying to just be a hilarious fool and just trying to make fun of someone by saying like there's only one wine movie on the planet, which I'm like, I highly doubt there is, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if there was only really one good wine movie on the planet. So I wouldn't be surprised. Liam's talking to the wine shop owner, and he's saying like listen, this is probably the wine you're looking for, or the champagne you're looking for. Sorry about that. But however, the problem is that it's an extremely rare bottle nowadays, so only the luxurious of collectors have that in their collection. So I will do my best to find it for you, but there's no guarantee. And there's kind of a little thing going here. There's a little bit of a thingy, and I was still confused on Liam's whole status with his ex. I thought they were still together. I thought they were still, united but divided, that sort of thing. But no, he's moved on, and now it's Liam's been single for a while, and he's been focusing on so many other things this season alone that. Maybe it's time for him to get back in the saddle, but that's currently sadly interrupted when Cassie comes in to kind of let him know that she couldn't find anything. Apparently, this owner, is apparently her brother, which I'm like, Jesus, what a small town. The fact that your brother is in Austin, the same town you decided to move into, it's like a very coincidental plot point. But so they leave in a hurry. She doesn't want to deal with it. Liam, the smart brother here, is very refraining, doesn't want to peer too much right now because it's still a fresh thing. I'm trying to think if there's really anything going on with the young walkers this week. I don't think that anything's going on. I know Jerry just came back from her girls trip with the other Davidson female women's. Seems to be a lot of fun. The sisters did not get to interact too terribly much since, I guess, unlike Grandma Davidson, who's been very eager to get to know her daughter. The other D.A. Davidson isn't entirely 100% sold on this yet. I mean, again, remember, it's a big revelation very late into your life where you already established most of your adult foundation that you start the question, do I really need a biological sister now just entering the picture? Is it really needed? So I'm not surprised she was a little bit withholding during the trip. Well, we didn't get to see her. We didn't get to see the trip. I'm just saying in terms of what we got. And there seems to be going pretty well. So far, it's not problematic yet. There's still very much, some bumps in the road, some things you have to smooth out over. But she does ask her if she wanted to go and do a little bit of a cooking dinner so that they can exchange recipes, get to know each other more. And, you know someone best when you're cooking in the kitchen. So, which honestly, that is very much true. I will agree to that. So they agree on that for later that day. Cordell calls over Jerry to meet her at their old high school soccer field, football field. I am not a sports person. I apologize. I really am not. So they get reacquainted. He wants to apologize for the whole, what happened at the Kansas concert, and that wasn't his intention to sound like he wanted he wanted her to not have some sort of relationship with her mom. It was very much that a lot of things were going on, and with the feud and everything, and just what happened with the ranch, it wasn't entirely in Walker's best mind space to say that or to do those actions, but he is owning up to them. He is saying that I want to atone for my sins or something of that sort, and so he does to apologize, but however, he wants to also tell her that about his mom, and that the thing that would mean most to her but for this anniversary as a present would be for her to be there, her presence as my due. But she's still Jerry's still a bit at least awkward by the whole thing, because again, even though Jerry is not Grandma Walker is not at fault here, she didn't do anything wrong, it's still very much a, hey, you still kept the secret from me, and you saw me almost every single day of my entire life. After that point, it really isn't something that, it's this big secret of someone else's, but you don't tell them till later on. It's a little bit, it can be a little bit betraying if you really think about it. So they leave it at that. And then I believe, yes, but they hug it out. They're like, you know what, at the end of the day, we're still friends. So it's no matter what happens, whether the relationship picks back up or, the feud gets worse, we're still friends no matter what. So they hug it out and they kind of go from there. So where do we go? So I know, I missed the scene where Walker was at the stool, fixing it up, getting it all anniversary party ready. Liam shows up to give him the good news and the bad news, and more of the bad news, as well as, telling him that Cassie's going through this thing with her brother. And also Walker was surprised that she had a brother, which I'm like, dude, you just got to know her for a little bit more than a month. I'm not really surprised that there's still some things you don't get to know about each other. Hell, even still couples that have been together for a decade still know new things about each other. Anyway, so Liam and them, Walker decide to switch places. So Liam stays behind at the side step to kind of just worry about the arrangements, getting everything ready to go, and Walker goes off to do some other chores. Let's say that before the big anniversary party. And the other one thing is helping Twada. I'm gonna call her Twida for now. I will come back to this next month. She's being accused of something at a bank, and Walker's there to just say look, you're just accusing her just based on her previous criminal offense. You got to give her a fresh chance. Walker briefly gets a call from Liam, who's trying to perfect this very different cocktail drink in order to appease in case they don't find the champagne in time. But Walker's like, I don't got time for your stuff right now. I'm in the middle of actual serious stuff here, dude. Let me go deal with this. Thankfully he get that resolved for her. It was just a miscommunication and a misunderstanding from the bank itself. So Twada's good. Everything's fine. Still a bit, like that weird tension. You're trying to make some sort of new beginning with someone, but the thing is that well, if you've done so much already, it's kind of hard to really take a step back and say, hey, we've had this history already. You really can't erase it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, just for food for thought there. So eventually Cassie does go back into the wine shop to talk to her brother. So the main culpus of them, because she was telling Liam that they used to be very close siblings. They used to do everything together. They used to tell everything about each other to the other. But sadly, one of the big things that kind of fell out between them is the fact that when this was just bad timing in general, that so her brother had a boyfriend who sadly got sick really bad, and that was around the same time that Cassie's partner Mark disappeared at the time, and Cassie kind of just retreated because she was trying to focus on finding him, and she never really came back for her brother. So that's kind of the culprit of it, and just I will admit the emotional strikes that her brother was making at her, it definitely does hurt her and affects her, and she backs away to cry in her car and drive away. But yeah, it's still fresh. These memories are still fresh, especially now knowing that, on her side, I think Mark is dead. So there's definitely a lot. There's a lot on her plate that she's not really ready to understand and handle. So just another food for thought there. I want to say we just immediately cut to the party. I'm it's this episode it goes by so fast a little bit that I kind of, or it could be my brain, I don't know. I remember Jerry is with her mom at the Walker the former Walker Ranch, and they're cooking up a meal. It seems to be going all right, and Jerry's having that revelation that oh yeah, this used to be the Walker's ranch, and now she just moved in. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I changed things. That's what happens when, I get my land back. So I'm going to have access to this. Anyway. And then Jerry comes clean. They're Walker asked me to come by there. The Walker's 40th anniversary party. So I kind of want to go since and honestly, Grandma Davidson has a very nice moment where she says, yeah, I know, you have a long history with Walkers. I'm not asking you to, forget your history with them just because you're a Davidson now. Of course not. You've had a relationship with them, so you don't have a feud with them. You love them as family, so, go be with them. I don't mind. You have my blessing, so to speak. So Jerry goes off to go do that. I think we do finally get to the anniversary party. So Grandpa and Grandma Walker just focusing on, it's been a rough couple of months, but, let's enjoy the night, just see what happens, just see whatever everyone has planned for us, and just, live the moment. So the kids drive them over to the stool, thinking that they're going to have a big, luxurious anniversary dinner with just the family, but then they were trying to play the coy of Cordell and Liam are out, so it's it's just us four, and I'm like, oh great, the kids don't have money. We got to pay for our anniversary dinner. That's great. All jokes aside, so they reach the stool. It's a big party. Everyone's there to celebrate. Everyone's happy. It's just a very happy time all around. Just seeing everyone together. Not everyone. There's no James. There's no Trey. Nothing. Just just the core Walker gang and Jerry and Cassie. That's really about it. Oh, I spoiled the thing. I apologize. I know that Cassie's brother eventually does show back in. revealing that yes, he has found the bottle of champagne for Liam mostly. They clearly do have a thing for each other, and he's like, that. I think they're talking about they're like flirting in terms of like just like the mixology of things. Liam presents him with the blackberry drink he made, and it's really good. Which like that actually looks kind of tasty. I would love to try that someday. And they're kind of flirting, but however, that kind of takes an interruption when Cassie comes into the stool and just sees him from a distance, meaning that there's still got some things to talk about. There's still some things to like really iron out there. I know there's like 2 toast speeches. I know Cordell gives one for the Walker for Grandpa and Grandma Walker, and they had to rephrase it because like even though like yeah it has been a very rough couple months, it's not just you gotta look at the positive of this. Not we may have lost our family home, but it doesn't like family. Of course, obviously they said before like home is wherever family is, and she's like our family is always just growing and just expanding and blossoming as every day passes. So, which is a very nice sentiment. I know the only last scene with August and Stella is that they're just talking about things and like they hope their future is just as lovely and wonderful as and hopefully they'll have marriages as long as Grandpa and Grandma Walker. Which I'm like that's sweet to think, but sometimes life doesn't really throw you that way. It really doesn't. I want to say we get to the second toast. No, not yet. Cassie and her brother step aside for a bit and they talk about like seriously about it, and obviously this was like having like having a civil conversation about the fact that like yeah, it wasn't fair that you abandoned me like that you literally shut yourself off because of a partner you only knew for 6 months compared to a boyfriend I had for 10 years. And Cassie's like, I totally agree, but I only try to like focus on Mark in order because I could not save your boyfriend. Like I know how much you loved him, but the fact of the matter is I can't save him. There's nothing modern medicine can do to save him, nor can I. So if I could save my partner, maybe that would atone enough to like say like I saved someone from a far long conclusion. Sorry, hot tea does help me a lot. Yeah, so we go from there. So eventually they do make up. They're like like they understand each other. They're back to being close brothers and sisters. So all happy times for them. Liam's about to give the second toast of the night with the champagne in hand finally. But Grandpa Walker's like, no. Like I know you have probably a lovely speech plan for us. That probably would be great. And you know what? I'm gonna do a song, an old Texas song that I completely forgot the lyrics for, but it's a really nice song. It's really nice. And I could feel Grandma Walker feelings of like being loved. Like those 40 years have not been perfect between them, but it very much was like like all the bumps leading to like some smooth roads down the line. Which so that's it made her happy. Jerry comes in, even though Jerry's been there for a long time. I saw her in an earlier scene, so they talk for a bit, and like she says like firmly for sure that even though I'm a Daverson by blood, I've always been a Walker by heart. And Walker says, just echoes his sentiment that like no matter what, we're still family. You and I still have our friendship, and of course, if you decide to give me another chance, I am all in on the relationship, and we will do our best to make this work. Which is a great sentiment. It really does. It definitely kind of allows them to keep going to an extent. As Grandpa and Grandma Walker's song ends, and Grandma Walker sees Jerry. They don't get into the weeds of things. Like, there's definitely some things they should talk about down the road. But right now, considering that this is a happy moment for Jerry, for Grandma Walker and Grandpa Walker, she's willing to put that aside for now. Just be there as a supportive, like, pseudo daughter for them. So, which is nice. It's great. It's great for them. Then the party ends when Stella just very frustratingly drives off Grandpa and Grandma Walker like they're just newlyweds or something. Like honestly, like I swear to God, if they just rent them out of hotels, like go nuts, like do whatever you want. And I'm like, they never really said that. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I wouldn't be surprised. So the party ends. Liam, Cassie, and her brother go to his house for like an after party sort of thing. And now, like Cassie like says thank you to Liam for like helping kind of mend the ship a little bit between them. And Liam's like, yeah, you're welcome. Like, you're not just Cordell's partner. sadly, you're part of his world now, and that makes you kind of like family. So just we're gonna be there for you. We're gonna be there for you, like whenever you need, which is great. It's great that the Walkers always think like that. It's a really nice sentiment. I hope to do that with my family someday. But Liam drops, of course, the obvious bombshell to her. It's like, hey, how would you feel if I asked out your brother on the date? And she's like, you know what? Let me go to the bathroom so you can do it, so it won't be that awkward. So Liam goes up to them, basically says like, yeah, it's been a rough road for me, and like I want to put myself back out there. So I honestly thought for a brief second, like, is he asking him to like just have an FWB type of situation? Like that's kind of like the vibe I was getting off them until he says like, do you want to see where things go during a date? And he's like, yes, of course, like let's do it. And it's like, okay, also, didn't your boyfriend, again, timelines are so confusing that I could have been misspoken here, but didn't this Cassie's brother boyfriend just die not that long ago? I know he had Parkinson's, and I gotta really research my diseases. I really don't know what the disease was. So they're gonna go on a date, and they're about to start drinking at night. So I'm like, that'll be fun. Then we come back to the side stool. Sado Cordell is the only one cleaning up shop after the long party, and Twada shows up wanting to thank him for him helping her out today. And she's trying to still like bring back that old Duke vibe. It's like, yeah, I know it's a new beginning between us, but like you've been demoing a vibe of Duke, how we used to be. And even though like you're not Duke, and we're trying to start over in terms of like a civil format, and it's very much like for Walker's, like you can definitely feel the tornness in his heart. Like, yeah, the time they did me was not the best, and the things they did again it was questionably ethical, but they did have some sort of attraction to each other, and right now it is kind of difficult for him to like separate, especially since Liam did warn him that Twada was connected to the Rodeo Kings, who were responsible for killing Hoyt in the end. So you really need to be careful here. So, which again is all right in the world, and if Jer was to find out that Walker was even fraternizing with Twada on a friendly basis outside of anything Texas Ranger business related, that's going to be that could create a big hurdle down the line for them. But Walker said, "I got this." At the end of the day, I'm still single. Jerry and I are still friends, and she understands that I've had partners before, and even if we broke up, I could still have partners afterwards. Moments after he just told her I'm all in, so that's gonna really bite him in the ass when we come back next time. So they have a civil conversation. They sit down next to each other, have a drink, and just, get to casually know each other, let's say to speak. Sadly, Jerry shows up, and I was like, I knew this was going to happen. She shows up. Obviously, she's kind of flabbergasted the fact that, again, Cordell literally just told her, like, less than an hour ago, I'm all in on us. Like, this relationship is a go. Less than an hour later, he's talking to another woman. And, of course, obviously, it's that age-old, it's out of context. She didn't stay by to figure it out. It's always that thing, the misinterpretation type of thing. And she just walks out very much confused on what to do. So that's where we end this week's episode of Walker, with just more confusion in my brain. So, but anyway, I thought this was a very nice, sweet episode. Focusing, just dialing down a little bit, no drama, so to speak, just focusing on the characters, their relationships, just the bonds and the connections between all of them, and just, respecting on how much they've come, how far they have left to go, and you're wondering what is next for them down the road. And that's always the most curious factor on, watching a TV show with great characters, is you never know what's going to happen next to them, and you just want to know, what happens next. And you will know soon, but we'll see how that goes. It was nice to see Jerry kind of finally make turns with everything, with the whole Davis and Walker confused. It was nice for that as well. Grandma Walker to have their shining, loving moment in the show. That was great as well. Still very much convinced we're gonna eventually get back to the whole Mark storyline soon enough. That's still like the last big storyline for season 2 to resolve. I know there's still the Walker Davison conflict, but right now it doesn't seem like the Walker's gonna get back to their ranch anytime soon. I know there's still 4 episodes left in the season, but we'll figure it out soon enough. June is not that far away. It's not that far away. So we'll find out soon enough. But for me, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. This was a nice, somber episode to kind of like get us fine on before we go on another damn month break, like the show always does. It never ends. It never ever ends. But yeah, so I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of this week's episode of Walker? Let's have that conversation down below. But I think that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally on What's the Two besides our Walker episode reviews, we're doing rookie episode reviews and Under the Banner of Heaven reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on ABC and Hulu. So go check them out then. If you only care about Walker, we will be back in 1 month. It's gonna be a while, folks. I apologize. It's been a while. It's gonna be a while. But I will say this. The wait will be worth it. I think once we come back, that said, it's a straight run to the finale. I know the finale is on like the last Thursday of June. I want to say, I think I'm right on that. So stay tuned for that. So, yeah. So just 1 more month of a break. Then you get an entire 6 weeks of me. So, get excited for that. But again, if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionXvideos. Ring that bell for notification when our next Walker episode reviews live. Please also ring that bell for notification when our next review is live. Please also like, favorite, share this review if you want to. And please also follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates we may have for this channel or other channel, The Collection Compass. But until we see each other again in 1 month, for the members for all you Texas Rangers out there, I'll see you all then. But please, for the remaining months, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Enjoy your Mother's Day. Enjoy Multiverse of Madness. Everything that you're about to do. Don't forget about Bob's Burgers. That's a movie too. But until we see each other again in June, peace out.